Do you guys love your houseplants? Of course you do. But right now, it's starting to get cold. It was 23 degrees last night. So obviously all the nice tropical plants are back inside where they belong until spring, until we're able to put them back outside. However, your house can get super dry in the wintertime, okay? And that's not good for your tropical plants. So let's go ahead and talk about some ways that you can increase the humidity in your house, in your plant room, in your growing rooms, whatever you may have to help your tropical plants thrive throughout the winter months once again. So let's go ahead and look at those things right now. Okay, so one easy way to increase the humidity for your houseplants is group them together. Okay, so all of these plants, imagine, they're all going to be, moist in the soil, and as they slowly evaporate or transpire through the leaves, it's going to create a natural little humidity bubble around your plants. Okay, so by grouping your plants together in a tight area, actually will naturally increase the humidity of that area just by sheer volume of plants. Okay, so if you only have one plant, this may not be the best way or even really feasible for just the one plant variety. So let's show what else you can do if you have just one or maybe just two little plants and cannot benefit from grouping your plants together. Misting your plants. If you only have a single plant, get a very inexpensive, cheap bottle from the hardware store, even from the dollar store, or wherever you may find a little spray bottle like this. Now, I exclusively use rainwater for my rain barrel on the house plants, which is a topic for another story. But if you just want to mist your plants a little bit, then your plants, through the little stoma on the leaves, little openings, will actually open up and absorb water. It will also help create a little bubble of humidity. Although it's not a permanent solution, you can also mist maybe the soil, keep it a little bit damp so it doesn't dry out quite as much. So there you go. That's another way to keep some humidity around your plants. So let's continue with some other helpful advice, and let's go show you another method to keep some humidity up around your plants. Okay, another way to do it is to fill a tray with some pebbles or some stones, some little decorative rocks, whatever it is like this. And then what you need to do is you just get a little container and you're going to fill this with some water, okay? So now you don't really want to have the water really over the top. You're not really trying to, basically have the plant sitting in standing water, which this might be just a little bit too much water, which you want to avoid. So add a couple more stones. And just like this, now you can add something like these little parlor palms, which require a lot of humidity, and just sit these on top like this. So what this is going to do is all the moisture in these pebbles and stones in the pot is actually going to slowly evaporate, like we talked about with grouping plants together. So this works great if you have just a small amount of plants, okay? So what's going to happen is you don't want the water up here, okay? So you don't want the plants actually sitting in water because that's going to encourage the roots to go down. The roots may rot because they're going to be sitting in too much moisture. But over time, these are going to slowly just dissipate and help the little microclimate right here with humidity. Now, if you do this several times with a couple of different groupings of plants, you'll benefit from, quote, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, you're just gonna, keep your plants together. It's gonna humidity, another group of plants here, humidity, another group of plants here, humidity, and you have your own little microclimate right there. So it's just that easy. Give that one a shot. So let's talk about 3 more ways to get awesome humidity around your houseplants. Okay, another great way to increase humidity for your plants, we are in the bathroom. Okay, so a lot of plants don't require a lot of light, like your philodendron, the heartleaf variety, or some other little like your ZZ plants, things such as that. So if you have a plant that doesn't require a lot of light, like this mistletoe cactus or even these spider plants, pinstripe plants, syngonium, etc. Now in the shower, you're going to get humidity. You're brushing your teeth, taking a bath, whatever it may be, is going to increase humidity in your bathroom. And typically, unless you're bougie or awesome, your bathroom is really not that big, right? So a smaller area, more humidity, is going to be overall just a more humid or damp environment. So these plants like this are going to love it and they're going to do just great. Okay, so let's talk about some more reasons right now. So the most obvious that I have not covered yet because, well, it's that obvious, humidifier, okay? This is a cheap, inexpensive humidifier. Now right here, as you can kind of tell, it's blowing on my plants that require the most humidity. The Christmas cactus, some philodendrons right here, got some alocasia behind me, if you can check those out right there. But these guys require a lot of humidity, right? So what you're gonna need to do is, you can localize your humidity requirements by putting a humidifier near the plants that require a lot of humidity. Over here on these growing shelves, now these are mostly succulents, cacti, euphorbia, etc., they don't want a bunch of humidity. In fact, it's actually bad for them. So here in this plant room, I have my dry, succulent-loving plants over here, and over here I have the corner that is full of humidity and your tropical, cool, jungle floor type plants that are going to require higher humidity, lower light levels. So this right here is another little microclimate that is going to humidify all of your plants. So that brings me to another point. If you have a bunch of plants, like say some cacti, some succulents, some plants that don't need a lot of humidity, don't group them with plants that do, because that's going to kill your succulents. Trust me guys, it's not going to be good. They're going to die a slow death. These plants are used to being in places with like 10, 12 inches of rain or even less. Hot temperatures with a complete dry season during the winter. So any kind of moisture, to even include humidity, may be detrimental to your succulents and cacti. So separate your plants into little microclimate zones is just a bonus tip right there. So let's go ahead and wrap this up with one, maybe two more tips, and we'll go ahead and end this video. So let's go back downstairs to where we started and kind of wrap this thing up. All right guys, the last tips for this video of how to increase the humidity for your houseplants is right behind me. Case in point, this is just a really cheap, inexpensive little stand-up greenhouse. It's probably used to being outside during like starting your seeds, but you can do it inside. It takes up almost no space. It was like $35. These little trays in here, but I like to mist inside of here. Okay, you can just mist it. It creates a little humidity dome in here. Put something on the bottom in case any moisture drops. So to keep this in a nice sunny window or somewhere that gets some sunlight, you're going to create a nice little microclimate. You're going to get evaporation. So I like to propagate a lot of tropical plants in here, a lot of cuttings that need a very high humidity environment. And if you're taking cuttings or know that taking cuttings in general, they need success with the high humidity. That's what I'm trying to say. If you want to have success with your cuttings, you need a high humidity environment because they have no roots. So that, any kind of transpiration through the leaves is going to desiccate them, dry them out. They're not going to grow, right? So this is a perfect way to do your transplanting, things like that. I like keeping this right here for just propagation purposes, and plants that require super high amount of humidity that are very, very finicky. You can go as much as you want, like the IKEA glass cabinets that have built-in misters with grow lights and these things, which if you want to spend a lot of money, if you have really prized plants, really rare plants, go for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one last thing, wrap this video up, and I'll show you just something that's super simple to do. And I've made a video about it before, and I'll kind of talk about that in the next scene. All right, guys, the final way to keep humidity around your plants is very simple. This is just an old aquarium, fish tank, whatever you call it. A little bit of plastic wrap on the top with the nice lid kind of securing it. Honestly, guys, I've not watered this in almost 2 years. Okay, and if you look in here, all these plants, is like an absolute jungle in here. And this is like a perfect little terrarium, which these plants are actually growing in the ground here. So our roots going throughout. So it's a little monstera and philodendron little ecosystem in here. But if you wanted to just put some rocks in the bottom or some little plants in pots inside of here, this is actually going to trap the humidity in and do just fantastic. Now this is an extreme example. There are some plants that actually really need that high humidity, like some Hoyas and things like that are very tropical, from like Ecuador, Indonesia, places that need like 90% humidity or you're going to kill your plant. So the only way to really recreate something like that is something like this. Okay, now it's not for everybody, but this doesn't take up any space at all, guys. If you just have a few little small plants, especially if you're trying to propagate, this little micro thing, if you want to put a grow light above it even, would be completely awesome. Now this gets just the ambient light from the room, which is pretty well lit during the middle of the day. It's kind of not really in bright full sun, so it does get enough sunlight to sustain the plants, but it's not going to burn them up. Okay, so that's why it's been able to just survive in this little ecosystem that I've created in here for these plants. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you did enjoy it. Now, keeping humidity around your plants is crucial. It's not a one-time thing. You can't just have humidity one day, then be good for a week. It's not like watering. It's something you have to take a conscious effort to uphold. All right, so your plants are used to being in the tropics, unless you're specializing in cacti and succulents, which this video really would not pertain to you. So I guess I'm not really gonna be concerned with that at this moment. However, all the nice succulent plants, they need the high humidity. And these are some just amazing, simple ways that you can keep humidity around your plants to keep them healthy, happy, thriving until we can put them back outside once again in the springtime. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, here at the hillside. I'll catch you guys next time. Give this video a nice big thumbs up, and I'll see you here on the hillside with the next video. Until then, guys, bye-bye.